The challenge of regional integration in the Southeast has been mentioned, but with the coming on board of the Southeast Development Commission, SEDC, that of course has a statutory body established to promote economic growth, social development, and infrastructure development in Nigeria's Southeast region. Now, they have the aim to improve the quality of life for residents, reduce poverty, and unlock the region's vast potential. Now, what are the issues the Commission must address to make a real impact in the southeast of Nigeria? And will the governors buy in to whatever it is the Southeast Development Commission will be bringing to the table? This is the Eastern Eye. I am Alex Obodo. Tonight, I'm joined by Sir Abuchi Anweyago. He's a veteran journalist and public affairs analyst. Tonight, he is joined by Chima Christian, Executive Director, African Morning Center for Public Policy and Good Governance. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on the Eastern Eye tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let me start the conversation with you, Sir Abuchi Anweyago. There's a lot of talk that, well, maybe that finally they've given the Southeast what other regions have already secured. Of course, it looks like the South or the Niger Delta region, not just the South now. They seem to have enjoyed this through the NDDC, the Niger Delta Development Commission. How has this helped them? Is the South region of Nigeria the most developed region in Nigeria because of NDDC?
Thank you so much, Alex. Well, it's already defined the essence of having the commission, the development commission. It's all about finding a way of hastening or fast-tracking the development of an area. Like we are looking at the geography called Southeast Geopolitical Zone in Nigeria. And the commission, according to the report that we have just read, will deal with such matters bordering on development, infrastructural development, educational, health, and so many other areas, including economic development, trying to find a way of opening up the Southeast to the outside world, to present the potentials, the economic potentials of the Southeast to the outside world. And in order for export purposes and also for foreign direct investment and other forms of investment. Yes, taking a look at what it has been with the South since the creation, the establishment of NDDC, that is the Niger Delta Development Commission. Though the South has not all that developed as it should be, but the NDDC has, despite the array of corruption matters that has bedeviled that institution, that organization, NDDC, they have been able to do some infrastructural development, to carry out some infrastructural development in the South area. I am very much aware of that. So much money has been committed to that commission for over 10 years or thereabout that the commission has been in place. And if I could remember, the first, is it executive chairman or managing director of that commission was Onyemu Gochukwu. And it was created during the era of General Obasanjo when he was the civilian president of Nigeria between 1999 and 2007. The NDDC has been able to make tremendous impact in that area in terms of road construction, in terms of provision of health facilities, educational facilities, and even training, manpower development. NDDC has been very well associated with that. So many people from the South have benefited from the activities of NDDC. So taking it to the Southeast, I would want to believe that if things are properly done, and if the commission will be devoid of corruption, if I may say, to a very large magnitude, because there is no way you can remove corruption from the system. It has been with Nigeria, and I don't think that corruption will ever leave in the near future. So, bearing large-scale corruption, weighing down the Southeast Development Commission, if funds are properly made available, as they have been making funds available for NDDC and even for I think there is a Northeast Development Commission too. So if things will be fairly done in terms of this development commission for the Southeast, and there is that sincerity of intention, there is that genuine intention, I want to believe that it is going to bring about some benefits to the Southeast.
All right.
In terms of manpower development, in terms of provision of social infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, hospitals, and so many other things.
All right.
So I wouldn't want to stay here now and dismiss the Development Commission as something that will not be beneficial to the Southeast. Let me see it from the perspective of optimism, that if things with genuine intention, the Development Commission is going to bring about some improvement in terms of the well-being of the Southeast. And particularly, they have talked about unbundling the potentials of the economic potentials of the Southeast. So if they are actually given the free hand to operate without any encumbrances that will be pulling the strings somewhere, invisible strings, and drawing things back. If the people that are going to be in this commission, if they have genuine intentions for the Southeast, particularly in opening, because Southeast has always been described as the Asian tiger, a replica of the Asian tiger. So if they will be able to do that, I think it will do a lot more good to the Southeast than harm.
All right. Thank you so much. Chima Christian,
Yes.
a lot of people are saying, well, all the things listed that the Southeast Development Commission would do are already the things the governors are supposed to be doing. The question is, what are those things stopping the governors from accomplishing those things? And is there a guarantee that the Southeast Development Commission would actually bridge that gap?
Well, from the original design, by the way, this Southeast Development Commission, we're thankful that it has finally happened. This was supposed to be really after the war, right? And then that RRR, that's 3 hours, did not materialize. And then from then, the Southeast has continued to feel that the Nigerian project owes it a lot in terms of restitution, but also in terms of inclusion in the grand scheme of things. Having said that, we would have preferred that this vehicle called SEDC is owned by the Southeast. Now it's a federal entity as against a regional entity. What do I mean? So there was a proposal on our web before the governors that they should create their own system. Let the 5 Southeast governors come together and create a special purpose vehicle, call it any name, but something resembling this, so that they can pool resources together to begin to tackle common issues. You see, where we are coming from, the Igbos were big on partnership. You need to know that. And you find it in our language. You hear things like Anykomarion, you compare something like Gidi. You also hear Akanrikwa, Igwebike, Bunu, and these are some of the things. But today, Unfortunately, the Southeast has fallen into this viral individualism where everybody wants to stand on his own two legs, and then there's that thing as independence, but that's extreme independence, which we tend to exhibit now, can also inhibit progress, right? So you want to be interdependent. There are problems that you can only solve communally. Yes, there are things the state governments can do on their own, but there are things that you want to tackle together. So what I view now is that despite the limitations now, that in terms of ownership, because it has been collectively owned by Southeasterners against a federal entity doing an interventionist project in the Southeast, those are two different paradigms, right? And then you rightly, in your introduction, talked about possible issues of partnership between the SCDC and then Southeast governors. That's bound to be there. But I'm hoping that they are able to navigate all of those competing interests, competing egos, for the interest of the region, right? Because the region has a lot of potential. By the way, when we talk about the Southeast, compared to Nigeria and many African states or nations, the Southeast is not doing badly. However, the complaints we hear is that the region feels that it could do more, it could be more, it could have more, that this is not the best of the Southeast, and that if you could put governance things in place and all that is in place, that the region would thrive. So what I see this commission as is another vehicle to attempt to solve the issues. Now, since the Southeast governors have been doing to the best of their capacity, I believe, there are other issues that I believe that they are not doing as much as they could. But then you now have additional entity to try to solve that issue. So he mentioned the interventions of Niger Delta Development Commission to the Niger Delta, in addition to what their governors are doing. So in addition to what the governors of the region are doing, and not just the governors now, but other leaders in the region, we have legislators in the region, we have other leaders in the region. So in addition to what they are doing, I believe that this vehicle is a place where we can also launch that. And if I'm to set an agenda for the region, it is not to reinvest for the group, by the way. It's not to reinvent the wheel. Mine is to see that they double down on partnerships. For instance, you can build roads, but we can collectively build. You can build individual projects, but I'm looking forward to a time in the Southeast, and that time will come, where, for instance, the 5 Southeasterners have a joint legislation to say, let's put 15% or 20% of our monies into a joint account, into a joint project pool, so that we can pool this to do things that we cannot do individually. We're also looking for because when people are talking about Southeast Governors Forum, you need to know that there are 5 legislative bodies here at the state level, all right? For instance, electricity has now been unbundled and stepped down to the concurrent list. But now what you see is that Anambra state government is trying to create its own energy policy through the State House of Assembly, and very soon Enugu State will be talking about it.
Enugu already have one. In fact, they were the first in the country to have one. They now have regulatory control of the Enugu energy market.
So you see the problem now is that the Southeast is like very small. It's less than Niger State. The whole of the Southeast is less than Niger State. So, and then, but in terms of population and productivity, we're up there. But what you want to see is that as you are an investor trying to invest in that sector, you may not be able to sell all you are producing in Enugu State. But now you are dealing with a different environment. You go down to Anambra State, different laws, different environments. You go to other different laws, different environments. Aspirationally, there is this aspiration for the Southeast to be one. You can call it Biafra, you can call it anything. But operationally, we now look at it as we are doing things individually. I look forward to a time where the Southeast houses of assembly can do joint sittings, can have more interactions between each other, can have periodic engagements. Also look forward to that at the legislative, at the judicial side of things. And beyond the governors, I want to see a forum for the commissioners. Does the Commissioner of Education here know what his counterparts in Imo State is doing? I want to see that forum. I want to see even forum of special assistants. I want to see that happen. And I want to see forum that is aggregated so that the conversations you have at the executive level, you can give it legislative impetus at the legislative level. And then the guys that will do the operational framework are talking to each other. So what I will advise the Southeast Development Commission to do is to become that bucket that puts people together in the room. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Can you bring in the lawmakers together? Can you bring the federal lawmakers to partner with the state lawmakers? Can we have those joint places where we could solve individuals? If not, you now have another entity that wants to build individual roads, and we can do well with that, but we could do better together.
Absolutely. And Sabo Chanoyago, in addressing this, there is also a need. I was interviewing Professor K.K. Chukwu some days ago, and he's saying that the first thing he would expect the SEDC to do will be to engage, try to reach out and find out what is it that needs to be done. Instead of rushing to build roads or hospitals, reach out to all the stakeholders to really build a framework for how this will work. How important do you think this is?
Well, it's very, very important. And taking it from what Chris has said a while ago, the Southeast Development Commission is, of course, is a federal government agency, as the case may be. So the federal government has created this commission as a vehicle to addressing those areas of need, those issues that have been bringing the Southeast in conflict with the federal government over time. Like he said, immediately after the war, the government of General Yakubu Gowon came up with the idea of the 3R, the rehabilitation, reconstruction, and reintegration, which they never did. So this commission is like implementing that 3R. So it's a federal government idea. It's a federal government project. In as much as it has now come into place, it doesn't stop the Southeast as a people being governed by people they call their governors. It doesn't stop Southeast from organizing its own commission or its own body. Call it any name. They may call it like you have the Odua or something in the western part of the country. So they may decide to synergize and do a collaborative effort towards achieving those things, like he mentioned, those things that the federal government agency, the Southeast Development Commission, will not be able to do for us because whatever happens, they are like the police. He said the state governor is the chief security officer, whereas the loyalty, the allegiance of the police commissioner in a state is to the federal government that appointed the commissioner, to the IGP that sent the commissioner or deployed him to that state. So while the Southeast Development Commission will be there and very much welcomed by me, as I have said earlier, let the Southeast governors and in fact the entire Southeast come together and decide on how they will go about their own development, because these things are in the concurrent list. And that is why you have transport, education, health, and all that. Even economy. In some states, they have economic planning and all that. So these things, they go in pari passu with that of the federal government. And that is why they come into under the concurrent list in the constitution. So the Southeast can galvanize themselves, bring their energy under collaborative effort, and chart a course that will be different from the mandate of the Southeast Development Commission, which is that of the federal government. We cannot say because we need our own, then those things that the federal government through the Southeast Development Commission can do for us, that we should dismiss them. No. Let the Southeast Development Commission be, and then they have their allegiance and their mandate being dictated by the federal government. Good and fine. But the Southeast as an entity, as a people, should find a way of coming together to pursue their common interests. They have so much that binds them together. Is it culture? Is it even religion? And historically, and all that. So the Southeast can come together and champion their cause and chart a way forward for them, while the SEDC will be doing their own. Perhaps we will focus on development projects like building of roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, and all that. And even training of manpower development. But the key area, the key issue of bringing our policies for development, bringing our programs for development, synergizing, working together, and bringing that cohesion. Like he mentioned, Onyagaramanye, Izumona, is one, name it, you know, Anukoma Milono, Obo Fufo, Ibra Idanda, and all those things. They are there and they can work, but they can work in pari passu with the Southeast Development Commission, all coming together for the common good of the Southeast.
All right. Chima Christian, there is a very young man. People say we should stop calling him young man, but he's a young man. And he seems to have acquitted himself well enough to be recognized at a national level to head a regional commission. So you already know him. He is at the helm of the Southeast Development Commission. Mark, you know him very well. I'm sure you do. So a lot of people already, his credentials have come under scrutiny. They're looking at, is he qualified? Is he too young? So what are your thoughts about those assembled? You have him, you have Mr. Wong, we also have even Ugabala, all of them are there, so a few other persons. And you know, it's a mix now. The people from other regions also will be part of your commission because it's a national commission.
Yes.
But it's particular to your region. Talk to us about Mark Okoye's antecedents.
Well, the thing is that I like the quality of men and women assembled. I think that they have what it takes to give it a go. And the political environment they're going to work on that, it's a little bit slippery. But they've also had their, not just you have experience in the corporate sector, but you've done a little bit of also you understand the problems. You understand that you are facing competing ego. You understand that you are going to be in charge of it. So the success indeed of that group is not just the resources available to them, but how you're able to mobilize consensus, how you're able to sell your projects, your ideas to other partners, because the success of that organization is not just in the hands of the organization. You need to mobilize other stakeholders. I've seen in states where, for instance, a senator wants to do a road and the governor goes to block the senator from doing the road because the senator wants to have has a political ambition. So now the governor is going to Abuja to block the senator from getting allocation. So you see it now. And then in the Niger Delta Development Commission, we have had issues where the commission wants to award a project and then the governor wants to do the project and they are blocking each other's funds, right? So this is just competing because we want to put our name on the project. So you have a lot of these things. But what I see here now, let me double down on the partnership I brought earlier, because we understand this innately. And then, by the way, when we talk about our aspiration as a people, we just mouth an aspiration and then do something else. If you talk to Southeasterners today, the opinion is divided. The majority of the Southeasterners, either they are telling you about a different entity, which is Biafra, or they are telling you about restructuring. And then when you now ask them, could you please define this restructuring? They are talking about regional integration. But we're already a region. This constitution does not stop us from partnering with each other. The constitution does not stop us from speaking to each other. For instance, we know this. If you are in any cooperative society, you can still go to the market or any market and buy things on your own. But if you bring your 10,000 together and we pool resources together and we buy it with that collective bargain, and then we will share the things together, you now see that you're getting more value than you would have got if you approach the markets individually. Southeasterners are approaching the markets individually. The 5 state governors are approaching the markets individually. Your governor in Enugu here is trying to borrow. That of Imo State is trying to borrow. Anambra is trying to borrow. This is trying to borrow. If you do a joint thing passed by the 5 state House of Assembly, you can access funds and take it individually. Or you can even borrow for joint projects. There are many joint projects you can pool resources. And then I can also say that, for instance, we can do a counterpart funding if it is well negotiated. For instance, the Southeast Development Commission may have, for instance, a take-off budget of, say, maybe, I'm not going to go to 1 trillion, but whatever, let's use a conservative figure of, say, 800 billion, for instance, for the first year. Now, if you have 800 billion to spend in the region, that's, with the current inflation, what can you do with it? All right, but that's a good way to start. But now, if you bring your 800 billion, or say that actual release was 250 billion, and you bring your 250 billion and put it on the table, and then you ask any governor, can you match it with 50 billion? Imo, can you match it with 50? So whatever you're able to put together, we can collectively design and co-create collective projects. You're talking about the real infrastructure. Every now and then, we are complaining. We have an opportunity to own one. But if we keep building roads that goes to, well, it goes to somewhere though, but I'm saying that if we pull that resources together and approach the market, we can buy things. On insecurity, which is a problem in all the 5 southeastern states, we can have a joint go at it. On the electricity, that there is a problem, we can have a joint go at it. So I keep doubling down on this partnership. I want to see a synergy where whatever it is that the federal government is bringing in, let's sit down and review the priorities of the federal government for the region and see how the state governments can pool resources to partner with the federal government so that we can get things going. But if we keep going at individualism, Enugu State is awarding contracts, SEDC is awarding contracts, Imo State government is awarding contracts. At the end of the day, we can still get things, but we would have gotten better if we're able to partner together. So I like the young men and women that have been assembled to do the work. I know that they will meet obstacles, but I have confidence in their ability to navigate if they put their hands to it. And I pray that they do that, not just for themselves now, but for the people of the region, because the region is far behind on its aspiration. People can't get it going if they really put their best into this.
All right, Sabo Chanoyago, it's a bit scary for me. Very scary scenario that, well, a senator wants to do something, but a governor wouldn't let him. In fact, this didn't start today. I'm sure you know that. Sabo Chanoyago, you are a veteran journalist. I'm sure you've seen and written a lot about some of these things. I mean, in a region where there's a lot of gap infrastructurally, and someone is trying to bridge that gap, but then due to political interests, he will not be allowed to do it because he will be in pole position to become the governor of the state maybe in the next 3 years or in the next 8 years, all sorts of permutations. So at the end of the day, it's not about the interest of the people. It's about the interest of those at the helm of affairs. How might this affect this commission before it even hits the ground running?
Yeah, there is no way you are going to remove vested interest in this particular issue because all the names that you have mentioned, some of them one way or the other, even though it is not, it might not be visible, but it is there. They have political inclinations, they have political leanings. For instance, Gabala that is being mentioned as a member of the commission, everybody knows his background, his antecedent, that before his appointment has been a very strong member of the ruling party at the national level, that is APC. He is their chairman. I wouldn't know if he's going to relinquish that position because of his appointment. So you now find out that being a member of the APC, perhaps the government of the day in Enugu State might not be comfortable with his presence in that commission. And whatever the commission might try to do for the development in terms of infrastructure provision might be in conflict with the interest of the government that is in place in the state because of political issues. So certainly that division will be there. But how the major thing will be, how are they going to manage the situation to avoid the experience that we recently have had in Anambra State, where a senator, I think it was the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, who wanted to do some road projects in Anambra State, and then it didn't go down well with the government of the day in that state, and that project was frustrated. So let's pray that it won't go to that extent with this development commission, because it's a new thing. Such experiences we have had in the past, in the present Niger Delta Development, in the case of the Niger Delta Development Commission, where some of the governors in the region tried to frustrate the commission to the extent that some of the projects that the commission wanted to carry out, to execute, the governors, because they have the powers, the state is under their, constitutionally, the state is under their control, and they decide who comes in and who doesn't come in. They just, frustrated those projects. Let's feel that maybe that will be another area of legislation at the national level that will make it, that will give the development commissions for the different regions the leeway without any encumbrance, without any hindrance, to carry out development projects without the interference of the state governments or any state government. It will not run in conflict with the interest of the government of the day, because they are all pursuing their different political interests. So certainly this fear that is being thought about now, it may rear its head, perhaps not now, but possibly in the future. Maybe the governors that are here today, after their own time, the governors that will come, there may be that, especially during political campaign, during electioneering, the Development Commission may try to embark on some projects, some development projects, and then the governors, if they are not of the same party, they will try to frustrate it, because they know that once the Development Commission gains advantage to build it, the president or his party will make claims that they did so and so in a particular state or in a particular place, and they will use it for their own campaign gains. So whatever happens, I would want to make an appeal that let everybody remove vested interest, remove political interest in this game. We have been yearning for this development commission, if I could remember. Now that it is in place, let us not give the federal government any room to fail to provide excuses and say it was because of conflict, unnecessary bickerings, unnecessary conflict that made them not to carry out some, the desired and the expected development projects under the commission in the Southeast. The fear is there, and you cannot rule it out. And again, within the commission itself, because we had that experience in the past. The same thing with the NDDC, where members of the commission, they were having the disagreements among them. You remember when there was disagreement between I think the chairman of NDDC and the managing director of NDDC.
That's right.
That even led to the dissolution of the board of the commission and the removal of the managing director. So it may come to that unless they manage their areas of differences with so much understanding. This is a bringing together of young fellows. If you look at the pictures of the head of the Southeast Development Commission, you see that he's a young man and some other being surrounded by some other young fellows. So one may have an idea and the other person has a different idea, and then agreeing to agree might pose a problem.
All right, it's a great thing. At least they have a terms of reference written down. So I'm not sure. Just like you said, the fear is that there will be political interference, and the picture already painted about the relationship between governors and senators, especially when they are not from the same political party, it usually is not the best. And it looks like that will definitely be the challenge we'll have. And because in the Southeast, we don't have a particular political party that is far more dominant. Well, now it looks like APC is more dominant. But in the National Assembly, it's a mix. You have PDP there, you have the Labour Party, and then the governors are always looking to see who is rising to challenge him in the next election. And if they fear that you might be rearing your head, they will tell you that every inch of this state is under my authority. So, but having said all that, the Southeast Development Commission has come to stay. Do you think that the commission will have learned from the lessons of NDDC? Because if you look at the South, the Niger Delta region, there are hundreds of abandoned projects by the NDDC. Some of them, monies have been paid completely.
So yes, I believe that the Southeast Development Commission is not coming as an experimental organization. There is a history of NDDC, there is the success and then the failure of NDDC that they can learn from if they are humble enough to do that. And then also the political terrain, you have to keep your eye on the pedal to make sure that you don't accidentally bump into the ego of a governor. All right, because that could be damaging. Because when you have people who are supposed to work together now at each other's throats, now drawn daggers at each other, then that could be a problem. So I believe that the SEDC can learn from the NDDC, right? Having said that, let me also speak to, because you asked me and I said that I had implicit confidence. I'm not revising that, but I like to see the good in others. I like to see, because of course, you now know that many people are protesting, say it was this person was recommended by this person, so he's not qualified. So all of those things are also all of those political statements. That tells you that people are now, up in arms. But even if I appoint you, there are people who could say one or two things about you. So I encourage each and every one of us to see the best in others. Are we doing this for ourselves? Are we doing it for the people? Are we doing it for the people? Because that's the question you want to ask yourself at the end of the day. If the development is for the people, then so be it. But then if it is for the governor, if it is for the senator, if it is for this interest, pursuing interest, then you're denying the people what is due to them. As we speak, women are dying while giving birth to children in the hospitals. As we speak, there are some communities that I know a particular local government in my state of Anambra that before you move from point A to point B, they have to come out from the local government, cross 5 local governments, and then get back to their local government because the main connecting road has been damaged by major gully erosion. And instead of fixing that, do you understand now? So if NDDC wants to fix that, and then the state government brings politics into that, you're not looking at the women who are suffering. You're not looking at the people who are suffering. You're only doing mere politics with the life of the people. I believe that a time will come, and that time is near, when you begin to have a new crop of politicians who are pro-people, who are not for themselves. People like Emma, people who can die for the people, people who can give them. You remember, why are we even talking about mere political system? They attend each other's birthdays, they do this, they collaborate at some level, right? But then once there is a competing interest, then you now see. But you see, the story of Sam Mbappe, for instance, you know he was not in the leading political party, but you know the story of how he will go partner with people in the dominant political party to get things for his people. They were even calling him the crying, the weeping governor. So whatever it is that you need to do to attract development, if I'm a governor, I'll be happy that if I have a budget of 1 trillion, that someone is bringing extra 400 billion into my state. Instead of trying to stop them frustrate, bring development for our people. Because no matter what you do, there is an ocean of need. As a governor, you're only providing bucket of governance supply. So if you need all the help you can get, not trying to be insular with development.
Someone sang in a song and said, "If you know what I know, you will like me." And there's some of the things we know that we don't talk about.
Yes.
Some of the things that happen in states where investors come to open genuine businesses and governors will rebuff them. The stories will be told at the right time. But let's signpost Mark Okoye. I think we have this picture there. My brother, my friend at PCR, Covenant can put it up. Mark Okoye, the young man. Mark Okoye II, the CEO of the Southeast Development Commission, has a solid background in finance and public policy. He is no stranger to delivering results. He's managed the 50 billion plus in investments. He served as the youngest Anambra State Commissioner at age 30, held strategic roles under 2 state administrations. And of course, he is an alumnus of George Washington and Harvard University, and is the first CEO and MD of Southeast Development Commission, and he was in charge of ANSIPA in Anambra up until his appointment. So very quickly, Chima, I need to get your thoughts in 2 minutes because we don't have a lot of time. So that's Mark. It's coming with very, very vibrant credential. So is there anyone who's faulting his appointment?
So even if you appointed our Lord Jesus Christ, do you know that people will complain about him, right? And that's the thing. But I must put it out there that Mark is my friend, a personal friend. But beyond the friendship, I've seen him work. You know, he was a special advisor in P2B's government. Obiano retained him. Soludo also retained him. There is something about him that has allowed him to serve in 3 governments. The Bible talked about Daniel. You remember Daniel, who was able to serve in 3 successive governments, or is it 4 successive governments? There is something about Mark. If he commits his heart to something, he will do it. I know that there are minds laid out on that place, but I know that he has managed 3 governors. He has been a subordinate to 3 governors, and he's managed. I've seen him try to prove, because even within the states, you have to compete to get the attention of your governor, to get him to approve your memos. And I've seen him do that successfully. So I know that he will be able to play around the presidency quite well to get things out of the president. Now, I also know that he was able to play around Anambra State to get at least the governor to. Now, I do know that if with all I know about him, I expect him to play that mini guy. Don't be sure. I know he will not do that. To try to, mobilize consensus, because his success is dependent on whether or not he's able to enlist the other governors as development partners.
Absolutely. Sabu Chanayago, he is the youngest commissioner in Anambra at age 30. He served he served as a senior member of Anambra State think tank for 8 years. So he's got some governance experience.
Yes, he has gotten that experience in public service and public administration. But still, as a human being, he has his political inclination. The 3 governors that my friend mentioned, they were all from a political party, ABGA. P2B was in ABGA. He served as a governor on the platform of ABGA. His successor, Willie Obiano, served on the same political platform from ABGA. And then, at the moment, the incumbent governor of Anambra State is from that same political fold, ABGA. And it is that ABGA that threw up Mark Okoye. I think the boy is related to late Honorable Mark Okoye also, who was a one-time minister and a one-time House of Reps member during the era of Shehu Shagari. Perhaps he's the son, because they call him Mark Okoye Jr. or something like that. So if I am right. So being a representative of ABGA, serving in a commission established by APC government, I am going to watch how things will play out during electioneering. That's the area that I was talking about.
Yes, but he isn't the first person that the president has appointed inter-party. So, because look at this, Bianca Ojukwu is of ABGA and still attended ABGA meetings even after becoming
election has not come, Alex. Election has not come where the interest of the person that appointed them will be at stake. Perhaps if in the next election, the president that appointed them either as minister or as a member of this commission and some other areas, if he's running for election, and then the man that nominated him, perhaps it was Soludo that nominated him to represent the interests of Anambra State in that commission. How is he going to manage and navigate it? Will the president be expecting him to work against his party, the party that took him to that? So these are the things that we have to watch, and I pray that the federal government will be able to let them perform optimally without any political strings being pulled to frustrate them, without any political interest, vested political interest that will now come in conflict with even their own personal intentions to serve and serve well. That's my own fear. I hope that the issue of political interest of the person that appointed them will not be a hindrance to their performance. If it is not going to be a hindrance, then good luck to the Southeast. And I pray that such a thing will not happen. Because in that commission now, you see he's coming from the family of Abga. The other person is coming from the family of APC. Maybe another person from the fold of another political party. Who knows? I don't know.
So, but Chima Christian,
Yes.
the family we want to see is the family of Southeast, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And then maybe because I've seen him work from up close, right? Remember that there was this log ahead between, although it was the same Abga government, but you knew about the fracas between P2B and Obiano. And then many who don't know that there is something simmering underneath between the current governor and the past. All right? And then this same man will be able to manage all those sensitive relationships that this person keeps getting reappointed. It's not all the people that serve the people in this government that gets it. Do you understand? But for the government to retain his services, and believe me, if I am to be the governor of Anambra State tomorrow, there are still people within this government that you can earmark and say these people will retain their appointment no matter who wins. Because they are offering something of value, right? And Mark is that person. I've seen him navigate political terrains before. I'm now hoping that the lessons he learned from Anambra State, that he's now able to apply it at the regional level and then also at the national level. On a scale of 1 to 10, I am 8%, on 8 confident that Mark will do a good job in Anambra State, especially with managing competing interests, especially with that. And again, Anambra has always played the politics at the federal level of whoever is in power. All right, Peter will always support Jonathan, who's absolutely supported. So that has always been the game. So I don't see that. What I see is between the state governors and the commission, not even at the presidential level. But be that as it may, I wish them the very best of luck, and I'm praying that they succeed, because the success of the region is more important than the success of Mike, or the success of the governor, or indeed of that of the president who appointed, or anybody who put forward his name.
I guess from this table, I can only say, Oga Adelefamba.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Chima Christian, for coming on the Eastern Eye tonight. Chima Christian is, of course, the Executive Director of Africa's Morning Center for Public Policy and Good Governance. Thank you.
Thanks.
And glad to have you in the studio after very many virtual connections.
Oh, yes. It's
And,
a pleasure to be here this evening. Thank you.
And of course, Abuchi Anoyago, thank you so much, as always, for your perspectives on the Eastern Eye tonight. Abuchi Anoyago is a veteran journalist and public affairs analyst. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex.
And that's the Eastern Eye for tonight. Remember, of course, that you can watch us on different platforms, as we've advertised a little earlier. My name is Alex Obodo. Good night.